Hey everybody, it's Rainbow Ramblings. Well, if God gives me my fondest wish and Barry Morphew is convicted, how do you think the old boy will take it? Well, we know that Barry is a supreme narcissist, a control freak, and a manipulator. So, based on that, these will probably be his reactions. First of all, he will never, ever admit that he murdered his wife. He'll never show any kind of remorse. He'll be defiant in his denial. He'll keep firing off appeals and being combative. And he'll try to manipulate his public image as long as possible. So there'll be appeal after appeal, and he'll be crying, oh, he's a victim and the system is corrupt. It has been from the beginning, and the malicious prosecution claims will be resurrected. Investigators are incompetent. He's getting a raw deal. Boo-hoo, boo-hoo, boo-hoo. And he's going to continue to try to manipulate his public image and say he was the perfect husband. He had a wonderful marriage, and we got it all wrong. So that's first of all. Second, he's going to continue to use his daughters for public support. He's going to continue to use his daughters to clean up his image. And they would know that their father would never, ever do anything wrong. And not only did he take away his freedom, they're taking away wrongfully his children from being able to raise them and be a support for them. Now, Barry was screaming suicide and pushing, Suzanne into a closet and putting a gun to his head and saying, is this what you want? And I won't be around much longer. I'll be going home to be with Jesus. It was his way of guilting and controlling Suzanne. So, is suicide a possible reaction should Barry be convicted? He probably won't actually do the deed, but I think he'll threaten it. And he'll be on suicide watch in jail, and he'll be isolated. And he'll be going, oh, woe is me. I have to blow my brains out because I'm an innocent man and wrongly convicted, and the corrupt system got me and took my children away from me, etc. So he'll manipulate and try to control the situation by crying wolf with these threats of suicide. But the weird thing is, he's gonna have to go to prison, and he's gonna have to deal with people. Other people there are as big a narcissist as he is. They're as much a control freak as he is. They're as violent and manipulative as he is. So what's he going to do? Is he going to try to just try to, knuckle down and do his time and ask to be left alone? I doubt it. Is he going to fight? Well, I don't think he'll do very well at that, because when he got in a fight with John Schmitz back in Indiana, they got in a fist fight. He actually was crying after they duked it out. I think people will try to victimize Barry. They'll try to extort Barry. Because he's rich and he's high profile, and he's going to have a hard time adjusting. But eventually, Barry is going to try to manipulate his way to climb up the hierarchy, to be in a position where he'll be able to control people under him, maybe buy some protection, maybe do something to get some clout or pay people off, to put him higher up on the food chain. Barry's not going to just go to jail and do his time. So he has to really learn not to be over controlled. over controlling. He's going to hate that he's not the boss. He can't call the shots. He's going to suffer from what they call extreme narcissistic injury. Their facade is stripped away, and they're just going to keep manipulating and lying and trying to establish dominance, even though everybody in prison is going to be able to see right through them. So most lifers go through a predictable psychological process. First, they go into deep depression, disturbed behavior, suicidal ideation. Then they'll have a period of grudging acceptance. As their involuntary home, he'll try to bond with other prisoners, maybe get himself a boyfriend. And then afterwards, he's going to go into soul searching and maybe studying and try to be a counselor to people in prison, or teach them how to game or work the legal system. He'll be studying the law books. It's going to be exhausting because he's just going to have to perpetually, claim victimhood and potentially all the time try to be the top dog and control everything. And I don't think he's going to keep manipulating his daughters. Visit me in jail, send me money in jail, call me in jail. And I don't know if they're going to get compassion fatigue and get tired of daddy draining on them. It could be eventually, after a few years, they're just going to dump him. So I don't think he's going to have a good time of it. I'm going to laugh my butt off. He has probably a couple of options. First is Colorado State Penitentiary or Sterling Correctional Facility. Those are like the major prisons in the area. If they feel he has to be isolated, they may put him in a federal prison, even though he's going to be doing state time. And that's because they don't want him to be victimized. He'd be considered a high security inmate. They can't keep him in restrictive housing in a state prison endlessly. So they might put him into a federal prison where it'd be easier to manage that kind of environment. So we'll see what happens. I am praying mightily for the day that he gets convicted and he gets knocked off his high horse and he has to go to prison, and he's going to see what it's really like to be around narcissistic, controlling, violent, manipulative people who've been doing it much longer than he has and have done a lot worse crimes than him. So Barry, the time is going to come to pay the piper. Peace, love, and donuts, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. This is Rainbow Ramblings. You have a blessed day. Unless you're Barry Morphew, and I hope you have a miserable prison experience and a nervous breakdown.